Hello and how are you? My name is Muhindo and I welcome you to our 20-second lecture of creating a complete inventory management system that is powered by a dashboard or a web dashboard and a mobile application. So without wasting much time, let's get straight into our today's business. So I'll begin our timer. You all know we always do 40 minutes, so I'll start our timer. So in the previous lecture, we stopped at the level whereby we created our basic application and we had started creating our menu here. So when you click here, you have to see your menu. So in the previous lecture, we were at this level, right? So we're going to take it from there to finish this registration screen and also doing other related information or doing other related logic that we shall need on this registration screen. So without wasting much time, let's go straight into today's business. So the first things first, what we're going to do right now, we're going to finish this registration screen, and if you still remember, we were inspired by this registration screen. This is the one that we're inspired with, so it's what we are doing right now. So yesterday I told you that we're going to do what? We're going to begin by adding here our background color. Okay, so this is the one that we're doing. So we're going to begin by adding our a background color. So we say the background color is going to be our primary color. Okay, it's going to be our primary color. So we're going to have a class where we're going to be saving our colors. So you can see I already have here my class. I called it what? My colors. I shared this with the basic project that I gave you, where you can begin, that one that you're going to begin with. Okay, so I gave you this basic this basic project. So in this class of colors is where we're going to be putting our constant colors. For example, I'm going to create a primary color maybe, and a primary dark color, and also accent color. So all the things that I'm going to do, what I'm going to create. So our primary color, you know, our project is a red one, so I can make this red color to be my primary color. However, you can design the one that you want. So if I want like a very much more dark of this primary color, so I can click there and I look for something that is much more darker than a primary color. And then I want also the primary light, so a primary color but something that's a little bit lighter. So I'll go ahead and do this kind of a tomato green. Okay, let me, I don't know which one is good for me. Let me just pick that one. So these are what? These are colors. So I'm going to make this background color to have our what? Our primary, our primary light color to be the main background color. So to do that, okay, I'm going just to simply come what is in a primary color. So I'm just going to come to our register screen. Then in background, I'm going to give it what? Primary light. So by doing like this, I'll have such kind of a what? Such kind of a screen. So we proceed. Okay, we proceed. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to give it an up bar. So I'm going to give it an up bar. So I'll just simply come here. I already have here an up bar, so I'll just simply come here and just do up bar, and of course you know it's going to take up bar. Okay, so in this up bar, you already have it. Just I'm going to put there and explain it to you. So in this up bar, I'll put there. So we're going to have our system overlay, and it's going to have system overlay class, and it's going to have a brightness of light, and then the status background color of this. In this case, not going to be gray, but it's going to be our primary what? Our primary light. Okay, so we do this primary light. Okay, or you can let's try primary and you see primary itself. Okay, I think you can do that primary itself. I don't know which kind of red that you want, or let's say that you're taking that red. So and then the up bar height to be 0, and then the elevation to be 0. So I can have that kind of what? That kind of a background color. So after doing that, the next thing we're going now to create our body, and our body is going to have a container. So I'll just come here. I give the body a container. It's already there. And then we're going to give this padding, the padding of the container to be symmetric. So I'll come here this container and I give it padding symmetric of horizontal 30 and vertical 30. So when I do like this, you will not see any change because it is a what? It's a padding. So go ahead and do that padding. So after giving the padding, the next that we're going to do, we're going to give this container a height of infinity and width of infinity. So height of infinity and width of infinity. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, so height infinity and width infinity. So I'll go ahead and do it that, give it that the container. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to now put a what? Our column. Okay, we're going to put a column. So we can make it this column scrollable because we may not know how long the screen, how the height of the screen of a user. So let me come here and go ahead and put this child. Okay, child. Okay, is going to be single child scroll view, and then in there it's going to give a child, and we do what? We go ahead and put our what? Our containers. Okay, so we shall have a spacer. Okay, now let me I want this column to be fixed because okay, let me just remove a single child scroll view and you see how it looks like, because you may not know the height of the screen of the user. Okay, let's just give it, we'll not give a spacer there. All right, the next thing you're going to put there, what? Our logo. Okay, we're going to put the logo. So we have not even created the logo of the application, but we can create it now. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and put here column. Okay, okay, and then give it children, and then we go ahead and put there our logo. Okay, so it's just going to be logo.png. Okay, so let's come here and get some quick logo. So I'll come here to Google, to Google search and get a logo. So come here to PNG, I can come here to images, sorry, and then say a red one. Which logo should you take? Just for teaching purposes, I think you should take this one. Okay, let's take this one. So let me go ahead and save it. All right, let's take this one just to save time. So I'll save this one as logo. Okay, so that is our logo. If I open it, there it is. I can go there and remove background, remove .bg, and then I drag and drop this logo here so the background can be removed. I go ahead and download it, and then it is here. So that's our logo. Let me edit it to make it a perfect square. Okay, that can, oh sorry, just again removed it. Okay, we are gone. Then I'll put there our logo. So I'll rename it as logo.png. So logo.png. So that is our logo for the project. All right, so I'll come here to our project. Where is it? It's here. And change this one to logo.png and then save. Then you should be able to see that. Okay, so there's some small issue. I think I need to restart the application because I've just deleted a few things. So let me restart it. How to restart? I just run it afresh. Okay. So that's our logo. So I'll come here and remove this background color like this. So that's our logo. So maybe we can make it width of 40, of 100 and height of 100. So you can have our logo there. All right, so I'm going to come here and I do what? And I make it a little bit in the middle. So since we have a single child scroll view, so you cannot put their spacer. So I have to put something that is measurable. If I put spacer, it will go up to infinity. So I have to put something measurable. So let me put size the box and I give it height. So this height, I'm going to give it according to the height of the device. So I can use get.what.height. Okay. So this will give the height of the device. So I can say maybe divide by 3. So it's going to put it there. Or I can say maybe divide by 4. Yeah, maybe by 5. So it will put it there. So if someone has a smaller screen, it will go ahead and do what? And make the screen scrollable. Okay. So let me put maybe 6 so it can be on top there. All right. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and collect someone's and put these fields, the form fields. All right, so I'll go ahead and put the height of 15. So immediately after the logo, I'll go ahead and put the height of 15. All right, so much of our time is going into the design. After doing that, we're going to put there now the text field that's going to collect someone's email. We can use this very one, but let me use the one that is inspiring us here. So we're going to get this text field. I'm going to explain it. So let me get it here and then put it here and explain everything. So when I save, we shall have this, okay, this text field. So this is just nothing but a text field where I have a keyboard value of text. So I can put here maybe name, and then we put a style of this text field, which is text style, and then I make the color to be white. So when someone will be typing here, the text will be white. And then I put the decoration, and in this input decoration I go ahead and pass the email. So I pass the email, and then I pass the label style, which is going to become like gray. However, here I can use red instead. So it's going to be red with that kind of color. So let me put red 100. Okay, red 100, and then I put also here red 100. Okay, so that's going to be our first input that's going to be collecting the email. So I don't like to repeat myself, so that I can make this input styling to be in one place and then just be calling it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a function that's going to be getting for me this input style. So let's go ahead and put this function where here in my styles. I think we can create a class called my styles, or we can use even this my colors. Okay, we can use this my colors to put even our rest of our styles. You can even create a separate class for the styles or for the theme. So let me go ahead and create a new file. I'm going to call it my theme, or you can call it custom theme.dat. Okay, so in here we're going to be putting our classes that we're going to be helping to theme to theme our project. For example, you see this one, okay, I'm going just to write it only one time, and then I just be calling it for the rest of inputs, in order we can so that we can save a lot of time for not repeating ourselves. So let me come here to our input. Sorry, let me come here to my theme, and then I create a class that I'm going to call my theme. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put there is going to be our static function that we're going to call maybe input style 1. Okay, so it will be accepting only the label, for example, so string label. Okay, and then it will be just returning. So I'll come here in the middle and return the input. Okay, so let me go ahead and import this decoration. I go ahead, so instead of having here email, I'm going to go and put the what? I'm going to put the label. So this can be our input. So let's go ahead and call this method. Okay, so here to come to register. So instead of repeating ourselves, I'll just say my theme dot what dot input. Let me import it, my theme, and let's say dot input style 1. So that will save us time. So the label is going to be first name, for example, first name, something like this. All right, so that's going to be our input, a simple input, just okay. Yep, so that's it. Okay, so you can go ahead and add more things, something like label style to be white, that's already there. For example, you can go ahead and put hint text to be, for example, enter the label. So the hint text will be enter the label, and then you can maybe design the hint text styling to be that one, and maybe this one can be something like 200 to look a little bit thinner. So enter first name, something like this. All right, I think that is okay. Maybe, yeah, so someone will go ahead, come here and put their first name. All right, so that is okay. I think that's okay. So you can proceed to another thing. That's our input, so you can base on that input to design the remaining of inputs. Only maybe we need to put there the button. All right, let's put the button and then we design the remaining things. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the button. So we shall not need this one, we just need only put the button and then new user sign up. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So the button is what? The button is login. So I'll come and copy this and I'm going to explain it. Okay, so I will explain this. So I'll come here after the input, this one. Okay, after the input, I'll go ahead and paste in there. Okay, and then I save. So here I'm going to need a spacer. Okay, of 10. Okay, or I can maybe make it 25. All right, so that's going to be there. And now we go ahead and give make it 15. I think the 15 is okay. Not 25. I don't know. I think that's okay. So I'll go ahead and give the width to infinity, and then the height can be maybe 45. Okay, and then the elevated button, and then this is our styling of our button. So we can do something like reddish. Okay, something that is reddish. For example, we can put here our light color. Okay, my colors dot what dot primary. If you put there primary to look like that, it's much more dark. So I can put here light, I think primary light. I think that is okay. So primary light, I think that is okay. I don't know that someone can be able to see that button. All right, so we come here and that is primary light, and then maybe primary light we can make it really light so it can be visible, kinda. Remove this constant. All right, so okay, you can see how you design it. All right, so after doing that, then the next thing, I don't want to make this one to be too much circle. I can make it maybe 5, something like that. So here, instead of having that login, I can say create account. All right, so I can make this text a little bit bolded. Okay, so I can make here font weight and make it a little bit bold, and then also size, font size, I can make it a little bit bigger, something like that. Okay, so I don't know whether we can make this one just to be white. I don't know whether it did not look weird. Should we make it dark or white? That can be up to you. All right, so that is create account button. All right, so so the next thing, now we're going to put the first thing that we're going to collect. Okay, I think that's all. Maybe we need to put also maybe new user, create account. So we're going to put already logged in. I mean already have an account, login, something like this. So let's put yes our height. Okay. All right, so next here we're going to put new user sign up. Okay, so this is going to be already have account, login. Okay, so I can make this one maybe 15. All right, or maybe 0 because it's a button. Okay, so you can pause and look at my button. This is just a text button. All right, so I can make this text to be white. Okay. All right, so you can go ahead and pause and look at my button there. All right, so that's a simple sign up screen. What else? Already have an account, login. Okay, so maybe you can put there some divider. I don't know. I think that's okay. I think that is okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and now put do the real action. So I want here, when the value is changing, I should be getting the value that has changed. So we'll come here to our input. Where's the input? It's here. Text field. Okay, so I'm going to put unchanged. On what? Unchanged. So it will give me the value, and I want to collect this value. So I'm going to create a user that we're going to use to collect this whole data. So I'll just simply come here and then create a user from the user model. I mean logged in user model. Remember I said to create a logged in user model, and then I can just simply say new user equals to logged in user model. Okay, so it's going to be the new user. All right, so I'll come here to unchanged. I'll go ahead and put first name equals to first name equals to what? To value.first name. Okay, and then I can go ahead and say dot to string. All right, so that's it. So when you enter here your first name, it will come here to this variable of new user. So if I come here and put Muhindo, I'll know this is going what in the variable of the new user. All right, so after doing that, let's go ahead and proceed now and add the remaining fields. Okay, so the remaining fields, let's go to our API so it can guide us. So if we come to our API and come to registration and then come to body, so we can be able to see what we need. Okay, we need the first one's first name and the first one's last name and the email and then the phone number, then the company name, password and the currency. Okay, so this first section is the basic information of person. Okay, then this second section is the what? It's the company information, the company name and also the currency. Or maybe we shall just need to collect the, okay, I think let's just collect okay, let's collect all of them. It's not, we can put them also on the same form. However, you can design a logic of creating them on separate forms, so they can be two forms. Okay, so so let's begin. Okay, so let's begin. We've already collected the first name, so we're going to the second name. All right, let's do that. So we shall come here and duplicate this guy. So I'll duplicate it with its spacer. Okay, so I'll come and copy and then paste there. Okay, so this is going to be last name. So I'll put here last name. Okay, so there it is. So maybe the space is too big, you can put there last name like this. So Muhindo, last name Baraka, like that one. Okay, so there we go. I go ahead and proceed to another thing. The next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to collect the email. Okay, the email address. So before email address and phone number. Okay, email address and phone number. All right, and then passwords. Okay, and then maybe company name, currency, and then password. Okay, email address, let's go ahead and create email address. Okay, so I'll copy that, come here, collect email address. So input is going to be email address. Okay, so I'll put here email address, and then I make sure that I change this variable to email. Okay, so after doing that, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to collect the phone number. Over this will be optional. So phone number, so we'll put here the keyboard to be phone, and then I'll go ahead and say phone number, and then I put this one to be phone number. All right, so after doing that, the next thing we're going to do is now to phone number, it's done. We come and collect the company name, okay, and then the currency, and then the password. Company name, either you could have done this on two different screens. So company name is going to be maybe here, do name, and then put here company name, and then put here okay, so company name is not on the user whatever, so we can create a separate variable for company name. So come here and create another separate variable for company name, because company name is not attached to the user variable. Company name and also currency. Okay, so those two things. All right, so here there is company name. We're going to collect it and put it in what? In company name, like this. All right, so after doing that, the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and collect the currency that they'll be using. Okay, so let's go ahead and duplicate this and collect the currency. So currency, okay, and then come and put here currency. Okay, then lastly, now the password, okay, that they'll use to log in. and then come and put here visible password, and then I come and put here user, new user dot password. All right, I think that's enough. So someone will be able to create, and if the screen is not enough, they can be able to scroll. Okay, so that is so beautiful. All right, so what we're going to do now is to reduce on this height on top, because our form is big. So I'll come here and reduce this height on top. I may not even put spacer, so this height on top I can just put the predefined, some defined value like 20. That's okay. All right, so yeah, that's our account creation screen. However, you can also add maybe password confirmation, re-enter password, something like that. And so before someone logs in, you first check if their password are the same. Okay, so that's our simple login screen. If someone is new, they can click on this and then they log in. We take them to the login screen. Okay, so that's beautiful. Let's go ahead and now start doing the logic of doing what? Of uploading this information to the server. Okay, I think that is okay. So right now we are going to now look on the information of creating the account. Okay, so let's go ahead and say create account. So when you click on create account, you want to create our function that is going to be working on submitting the account. So let's go ahead and look for this button of create account, which is create this one here. So we're going to put on tap on this button. So it is right there on press. So we're going to do create account method, or we can say submit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and create this method. So our method is here. So there are a few things that we're going to first validate. First of all, we're going to check if first name is not null and last name. So if first check is first name not null, or all those things we check. Then after checking that they are not null, okay, let's check one by one the most important things. So if new user first name is equal to null or is empty. Okay, let's say if first name that is what is empty. So if it is empty, I go ahead and show an error. So I can use this one. Okay, get the snack bar and then say error, and then I put first name is required. That is a simple pop-up that you can show. All right, so let's go ahead. So if the last name is not there, we do go ahead and validate and show last name is required. However, I'll show you the better of validating. So, and then let's try this. So if I remove and I remove this one, let's try to validate. So you see, first name is required. That kind of error will show up on top there. If I come and submit this one here, you see, first name is required, so it cannot allow you. So if I come and put here Muhindo and then I submit, you see, last name is required. If I put Mubaraka, I submit, email address is required. Okay, so is there any other way you can customize this get text because looking weird? We can check its background color to that, and I think if you change the background color to that, it will be much more better. Okay, I think that's okay. Let's just change its background color. So I'll come and put here the background color of this pop-up, and then I do the same thing here. All right, so that it should not look like very much same to the warning. So if I come here and try to submit, error, first name is required. However, you can even change the way the thing should be displaying. All right, so that is done. So you validate first name, validate email, phone number can be optional. A company name is required. So we go ahead and check if company name. If company name, so go ahead, put here company name dot length is less than 3, then you can say maybe enter valid company name. So you can go ahead and check what currency is required, and also maybe lastly you check the password. Okay, if password is having length less than what, less than 6, maybe you can say password must be maybe less than 3, and then you can say password must have more than 3, at least 3 characters, at least 4 characters. Yeah, if it's less than 4. So that is our simple validation. So if you pass this validation, you can put here maybe utils. I can just put our utils. I hope I have toast. I don't have it, so I can put maybe a get dot snack bar, and then say success, and then say maybe good to go. Okay, and then maybe we can make this one to green, okay, something like that. All right, so let's go ahead and test and see if we can reach here. So I'll put here my first name Muhindo, maybe John, last name Baluku, email john at gmail.com. You can write even a validator for email, and then we go ahead and put our phone number 0783 put the company name test. You can put maybe app test company, and then go ahead and put the currency, maybe UIUX, then password 4321, and then let me remove these zooms. Okay, now when you try to submit, you'll see success, great job. Now we're going to work on the logic of submitting. Okay, so this is, maybe we can call this one validation, because the word submit, validate form. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this one validation form, validate form. Then we're going to create a separate method for now for submitting after it has validated. Submit. Now let's go ahead and create now a separate method for submit form. Okay, now this method is going to be purposely for submitting the form. All right, so it's going to be asynchronous. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're going to use Dio package for sending HTTP requests. So if you come here to our YAML, okay, if you come here, we don't have a package called Dio. Okay, I have HTTP, but for me I'm very confident with Dio, so we're going to add another package called Dio. It's not that we're going to use for sending information. Let me remove this HTTP, we don't need it. Let's go ahead and search for package called Dio. So come here and search for package Dio, Flutter. Just search Flutter Dio package, very popular package and powerful. It's the one that we're going to be using. So come here and click on package, then you'll be able to see the Dio package. So that is the Dio package. We're going to add it to our project. So I can come here to installing. I can either run a command, or I can just simply come and add this to our package. To our pubspec.yaml. All of them, they're the same. So I'll copy this value, this Dio 5 whatever, the way it is there, and then I come and put it here to where we had HTTP. I put there Dio. So this Dio is going to be responsible for sending the request to what? To the HTTP. So okay, so after doing that, our time is up, but let's at least finish submitting. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going now to run pubget, so it can be able to import this Dio in our project. So it has successfully run. So I can restart my app. Oh my god, I didn't want to restart it. Okay, let me restart, no problem. Then you can come here and read the documentation of DO waiver. I'm just going to take you through this deal. So this is how you send the post. Okay, it's just very simple. This is how you send post information. Okay, so I'm going to use this to send our post method. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we shall come to our register. Okay, and then we're going to put here the logic of submitting. So this response can be just a normal variable, and then this DO you just import it by pressing Alt. Sorry, let me import DO. So to import DO, okay, you just simply say DO like this. You create DO package. You create DO variable. So you first create DO variable. So come here on top and then create DO variable. So like that. Just final DO equals to DO. So you import it, and then after you'll be able to just run your HTTP request by just simply say awaiting dio.post, and then you can put the link where you're posting, and then here you put your your data. This data can be even in in JSON format. All right, let's meet in the next lecture where we're going to send our our HTTP request, the post HTTP request to the server. See you in the next lecture. Don't miss. Hello and how are you? My name is Muhindo and I will come you to our 23rd lecture of creating a complete inventory management system. As you know, we always do 40 minutes, so I'll go ahead and start our timer. So in the previous lecture, we stopped while we had just designed our form and we had just added DIO in our project for creating the HTTP request. You can even put this one as outside so it can be created only once. Okay, so we are now going to do the logic of sending the information to the server and also receiving the information from the server. So without wasting much time, let's go ahead and get started. So as I was telling you, DO is very simple to use. Just simply create the DO variable. You can create it and put outside the method so it can be created once. And then after, you just simply wait for the response. You can just say response is equal to await DO.post. Then here you pass the endpoint where you're saying the data, and then you say data, and then here you go ahead and do what and put the data that can be in JSON. So it will be very smart if we can just convert our data in JSON other than doing manually converting it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the logic of first converting our data in JSON. So when we want to send this data here, we shall just simply say our object, for example, which is new user dot to JSON. Okay, to JSON, and then you should be able to do what to convert our data to JSON. All right, so let's go ahead and add this method in the user or logged in user model. Okay, as I've written it exactly here, and then you go ahead and open curly bracket, to JSON, open bracket, and then do like this, and then you return. Okay, so we're going to say return, you open these curly brackets, and then start returning the values. So I'm going to return here the name and its value, something like this. For example, I'll just simply say ID, and then you put there ID, something like that. So username, you put username, password, you put password. So it's going to convert both of them as I'm showing you here. Okay, so you get every variable that is on top there and do what I'm just doing here. Okay, so we have our ID, which is on top there, and then we have our username, we have our password, okay, we have the name, we have avatar, we have token. So almost everything that we have there, all the variables. Have created art, we have updated art, okay. We have company ID, we have first name, we have last name, we have phone number and phone number too. What next do we have? We need phone number 2 is over. We need address, and put address. After address, the next we're going to put sex, and then sex, and then the next we're going to put DOB, then DOB, and then lastly status, and then email. All right, so those are the fields that we do what that we need to convert to JSON. So this is how you can write a method of converting a variable to JSON. However, I'll show you another better way of how we can automate all these things. All right, so that is it. Now I'll come back here to our register screen, this one here. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the registration. So now let's first test and see if everything is okay. So let me just simply come and say print, and then I say new user.toJSON. Okay, it should be able to do that, and then I can maybe say to string. I should be able to and return here on top. So you should be able to put that these values that we shall have entered here in the JSON format, and then you put them in console. So let me come and put here first name Bira, and then last name Sabia, and then email sabia@gmail.com, and then phone number 07 whatever, and then company name Sabia and Sons. Okay, company name Sabia and Sons, and then currency UIUX, and then password 4321. I don't want to forget passwords. All right, so if I open here the console, I just try to click on create account. You see everything is success. Everything has been just converted to what? To JSON. That is so beautiful. You can even, if you have put that method on your class, you can even use this that's JSON encode, and then to automatically invoke that class like this. You see, it converts them and even surround them with what? With quotes. May I always prefer this one. Okay. All right, so that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. It converts our data and puts it in JSON, and you've seen how we can do that. So you can convert any object and put it in JSON. So that's a very good thing. All right, now, so the next thing, we are now going to submit our data. It's now the time to submit the data. So I'll get that and then come. So here it's going to be response. Okay, it's going to be response here. Okay, it's going to be response, and then data is going to be I prefer this one, JSON dot encode, and then I pass the user like this. Okay, let me hope that one works. Let me first test it. Alright, so let me first test that one and see if it is okay. So you see everything is okay. Alright, so that's good. Let me remove this toast. Let me remove this snack bar. I don't need it. Okay, so that is okay. That is very okay. Now it's time to send this data to what? To the online. Let me just comment this snack bar here. Alright, so now it's time to send the data to online. So I don't want, when the system is loading, I don't want the user to be interacting with what? With the login button, okay? So I want to log the user, not to see this login button, create button when the system is loading. So I'm going to put here a boolean. Okay, I'm going to put here a boolean, or there is a package that we can use for loading. I don't know whether we shall need it now. Okay, since we're learning everything, let's go ahead and put it here. The package that we shall use for loading when something is loading. So I always use it. Let me see in a project that I've used this package. I've used this package somewhere. I can use it for loading. So instead of me suffering with loading, I can use that package. So it's called Flutter Easy Loader. Okay, so come to add that. Okay, and then search Flutter Easy Loader package. This one. Okay, you search this package. Okay, go ahead and add it in your project. So it's the one that we're going to use for loading. So I'll go ahead and copy that and then come and add it in our project. Okay, so you can come here to terminal and then add it there. So I'll add Flutter Easy Loading. So after adding it there, of course there are a few things that you have to do. I'm still in the previous project. Okay, so come to your terminal and then add Flutter Easy Loading. So after you've added it, there are a few things that you have to do. If you read the documentation here, they'll say that you'll have to go and add it in your app. Okay, you have to add it in your material app here. You have to add it, you have to initialize it in your material app here. Okay, so we're going to go to our material app and add it in the builder here and initialize it. So if you don't do that, it will not work. So I'll just simply come here to our material app. So our material app is here on the main, and then you're going to add it there. So I'm teaching you just all the techniques. Okay, so here, come here to the get material app and then add it there. Just add builder and then add easy loader.init. Okay, on top of the material app. Okay, so do that. Then after, you stop your application and then restart it. Okay, then you rerun your application so it can be initialized. So after you've added that, oh my god, where am I? Okay, after you've done that, so after we've done that, we're going to do what? To create we're going to create two methods. Okay, we're going to create two methods. One method is going to be for showing the loader, another method is going to be for hiding the loader. This is not just my personal techniques. I'm sharing them with you. Okay, so this is our register screen. So it's not that every app must have that or must follow those procedures. This is just a technique I'm sharing with you. Okay, so I'm going to create two methods. One, it will be for hiding the load, for showing the loader, and another one is going to be for hiding the loader. So we shall go to our utils function. So, oh my god, where am I? Sorry about that. I've just run the wrong application. Okay, this is the one. Alright, so we are going to go to our utils. Remember, I have a class where we're putting our important functions. So I think, well, where is it? Have you created it even here? I don't think I've created it. Let me create it here. So I'll just come here to our models and then I create a new class. So right click, new, and then I'm going to create a new file that I'm going to call utils.dat. Okay, so in this class is where I'm going to put my class of utilities, my methods of utilities. So let's go ahead and create a class and I'm going to call it utils.dat. Okay, utils, that's just a class. Alright, so in this class I'm going to put, for example, you can put a toast, something like that. You can put initialize database inside here, something that we have been doing something like these ones. Alright, so in this utils I'm going to put two methods. One method is for initializing the database, for showing the loader. Another method is for hiding the loader. So just go ahead and say static void show loader, and then it will be receiving a boolean. So this boolean is accepting, it will be telling whether the loader should be dismissible or not. Dismissible means that if someone touches on the loader, it should be hidden. If it is not dismissible, it means that even if someone touches on the loader, it should not show anything. It should just block the user. So I'll go ahead and check if, so this is how you check. If the loader is shown, it should return. So I just simply say if is a loading, so you'll have to import it here. It's called is a loading is show. So if it is shown, I don't need to show it again. So if it is shown, I go ahead and return. If it is not shown, I show it by just simply saying is a loading dot show. Okay, so say is a loading dot show, it starts showing, and then you put the text that you want to show, and you put the mask color, and you put whether it should be dismissible. So on top, so if it's dismissible, if someone said it should be dismissible from the method that they call this, I make this one dismissible. If it is not, then it will not allow this at dismiss. So that is it. So that is the method that will be responsible for showing the loader. So it is that, but it's going to save us a lot. So that is for the showing the loader. You get it, eh? So this one is for hiding the loader. So hide loader. So it is just easy loading. I first check if it is shown. I go ahead and do it and say easy loading dismiss. Okay, so that one will be able to dismiss the loader. So that is it. Okay, so this one will help us in blocking the user not to interact with the application when something is loading in background. Right, so let's go ahead and now try this. So I'll come here to our validate. Okay, I'll come to our validate, and I try to test if these methods are working before I even proceed. So it's going to be utils dot what. So I import our utils dot show loader. So if it is dismissible, let me say true. So that is, I should be able to dismiss it, otherwise it's going to block me. So I return. So this is when I click on submit, this validate method will be called, and then I'll go ahead and show the loader. So I'm testing. When I click on submit, you see our loader is showing. When I click here, it is dismissed. Okay, so that is beautiful. So that is okay. So our show loader is what is showing. So now let's go ahead and work on the logic of registering the user. Okay, so when someone clicks on submit, I'll go ahead and do, and after, so someone has been validated, everything is okay, I'll go ahead and show the loader. So it will be utils dot what dot show loader, and then dismissible, I make it false. So someone should not be able to dismiss it. Okay, so if it is showing, someone should not be able to do what, to dismiss it. Then after, I'm going to send my request. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to make this variable to become null here. Okay, the response variable to become null, because anything can happen. Okay, and then after, I'm going to surround this with try and catch. Always surround your things with try and catch. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then it's going to load forever if the error happens. So I'll surround this one with try and catch. Okay, so I'll say try, I go ahead and say try, and then say response equals to await do.post. I'm going to put here our HTTP endpoint, and then I put data, and then do like this. So I can go ahead and put a header. So you know, header, we're going to expect a JSON, so I put headers. Here you have something called options. You have to pass what you call options. I'm going to explain that. So here you pass the JSON data, and then you say options, and then you say options, and make sure that you import these options from the DO, and then say headers, and then I put a colon, and then I open curly bracket, and then I say accept JSON content type JSON application stroke JSON. So you have to do those things. Okay, let me put a comma so you can see things clearly. So that is a DO request. So you can pause the video and see how I have done that. So it's going to be able to send our request to online, this one. Okay, so if it fails, I can go ahead and do my toast. I can just simply say if it fails, let's say that it has failed, I can go ahead and can go ahead and make this response to be null. So if it fails, I just make the response to be null. Okay, so maybe I can put here my string for error message. Okay, you can say maybe error message, something like that. So if it fails, I'll go ahead and get the message by saying error equals to e.toString. Okay, so it will be able to get from me the message. You can just simply say dot get message, something like that. Okay, those to string, so it will get for you the reason why it failed. So I shouldn't forget to hide the loader immediately when it finishes to load, otherwise the loader will show forever. So I come here and put hide loader. So it is very important to surround your things with that, with try and catch. So after I've done that, let me go ahead and put my response into the console. So I check if the response is not successful. I go ahead and show the error. Okay, if the response is none. If it is successful, I'm going just to put the response into the into the console. Okay, so I just simply put print dot run type. Let me first put the run type into the console to string, and then also I print the data. I want to see what it has really come from the from the server. So I can go ahead and just put here maybe so I can maybe put here I'm going to come here and submit. So here I'm going just to print something and say requesting start, and then I come here after I've hidden the loader. I've just put requesting end. All right, so I just need to know. Okay, all right, so that's it. Now we're going to go ahead and now put here our endpoint. So the endpoint, just like I told you here, you see, we're going to create our constants. For example, the constant for the URL, just like they have it here in environment. Okay, so we're going to create a constant for the API endpoint. So let's go ahead and do that. So you're going to come here, and here we can put this constant in these utils, or I can just create a special file for constants. So I come here to special file for constants, or let's just put it here in utils. Okay, our constants, you can put them here on top of utils. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say our first constant. So it's going to be constant. Is it string constant or constant string? String constant? I don't know. I think it's constant string. Constant string. For example, I'm going to put now API URL or API base point. So if you just make this one final static final or static string. Static what? Static constant. Okay, static final. That's enough. So it's going to be a static final API URL. I'm going to put here our API endpoint. So you put where your website is, where you have hosted your project. So I'll come here and put this one here like this. So that's going to be our our API endpoint. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough. So that's our API endpoint. Okay, so we're going to come now back to our our requests register screen. So come back to our register screen. So in here we're going to pass the API. Okay, so I'm going to substitute the constant. So it's going to be utils dot API. Okay, dot API base URL. So you know this API comes with its backslash. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put now the endpoint. So I've already put this. So I'm going to come here and then get the register endpoint. It's stroke auth stroke register. Okay, so I should be able to put this one here, stroke auth, stroke register. I think that's all we need. So it will substitute the base URL and put stroke authentication, stroke register, and then that will be all that we need. All right, so let's go ahead and try to send our request now. Okay, so I'll open my console and submit and fill in the form, and then we try. So beer Sabia, email sabia@gmail.com. Okay, you're filling the form, and then put the phone number, and then company name, and then country, currency, and then password. All right, that's it. So let's go ahead and register. So I'll clear my console, okay, and then clear my console and then press here Bismillah. So registering, start. It has finished. So you can see it has finished successfully. We did not get any error. So the response, it is in the response data type, the data type is response dynamic. Okay, response dynamic, and you can see it is having something here, okay, which is in string dynamic value. All right, so let's go ahead and get the data. So I think to get the data, you just simply put here .data. Yeah, .data. Okay, so .data. All right, so .data. So here, okay, so you may need first check if it is not null, if it is not a map, something like that. So let's first go ahead and check if we are now good to go. Okay, I think we are now good to go, because if you let's first check if it is not a map, then we can say that something was not right. Okay, so let's check if this one is null, then we know something's not right. If is equal to null, and then just simply put here my error message equals to failed to register because response.status. Okay, I put there the status. Okay, right. So after checking that, so I've checked the data is not null. The next thing I check if it is not map type. If responsible data is not map, it's not a map. So this is how you check if it's not a map. You just simply say response.runtime.string.contains nope. I'm just going to say if it does not contain map. Okay, so if it does not contain a map, the data type, then I know it's not a what? It's not a map. So I just simply say is map? I don't know. Okay, to string runtime type, the run type to string to lowercase contains map. So if it does not contain the word map, then I know things are not right. So if is not a map, I'll go ahead and show the message and say it has failed because that. So if it passes there, I can now go ahead and know that okay, it's a map. I can now start fetching things by use of key and values. So I can just simply come here and just put string.what.data, and we see the kind of data that has come back to string. All right, let's try again. Send. So you know right now it is going to send an error, but it should be in form of success. So you see, company name is required. So you see that okay, things are now okay. All right. So you know this error is valid. Of course, company name is required. Okay. Of course, now everything is now fine. You see, like we're getting something that is making sense. All right. So let's go ahead and check if the code is not one. We just know something is not right. So you just simply say if response dot code is not equal to 1. Okay, response data code is not equal to 1. I just go ahead and set error equals to the message, and then I should always remember to set state. Okay, I go ahead and say set state and then return. Okay, so if everything is okay, I can now just go ahead and put here okay, let me just show a snack bar and just say successful. All right, so let's go ahead and do the logic of displaying the error here, of displaying the error. Where should you display the error? I think the error should display it here after the register button. Okay, so this is our error, so you can pause the video and see how I've been handling this. Okay, so we're going to come here to our create button, create account, and then do the logic of adding the error, of displaying the error. So you go ahead and say if, just say error dot is, if it is not empty, so put your question mark. If it is not empty, we go ahead and put container, okay, and put with infinity, and then display the error. Otherwise, if it is empty, we just display the empty container. Okay, something like that. Let me first do the opposite. So I'll just put here the note so you can see how it's going to look like. It's not displaying. If I remove this, all right, I think let's give it a color of white. All right, so there it is. Let's give it some margin, agent set dot margin. So I've just put here the opposite, so it can be able to show at least something. So there it is. Yep. So padding, yeah, there it is. So let's say maybe our error will be here, so that will be the error. We can give it some kind of radius, decoration. I want to give it some box of radius 5. What the hell? Color. You cannot give color on both sides. So that is our error. You see, that's how our error look like. Yeah, that's how our error will look like. So what next? I think that is okay for me. Yep, I think that's okay for me. So you can pause the video and see that. So I'm going to remove this note here. Okay, note, I'll remove it so it can be hidden by default. Okay, that is okay. So now when you're submitting, I have to make sure that this error is set back to nothing. So submit registering. So here when sending the register, I'm going to do set state and then make the error to be nothing by default. Sorry, let me come here and make the error to be nothing by default. All right, so that's it. I hope you've been following very carefully, and I hope we are together. Okay, so when it is successful, let's say that when the code is 1, then you shall know that everything is okay. So maybe we may need to convert this one to string, because it can come as a string. If it is not 1, so I have to surround this one with this. All right, so I think that's okay. I think that is okay. That is very okay. Let's go ahead and try to recreate again. So I'll come here and put some just dummy data, and then just for testing sabia@gmail.com. Go ahead and create an account. Company name is required. All right, so now you can know now where is our JSON, our loader. You see here, when we're encoding this one, it is just only encoding the user information. Remember, the company variables and currency were what? Were just plain variables. So what we're going to do, we're going to have our upload data. So separate, and then we add those variables manually. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can just simply say map map of a string, comma, dynamic, and then we say maybe upload data equals to, then we convert, so we convert this and store it there, and then okay, is that okay? Okay, like that, I think. Yes. Then you go ahead and put company name, so you put there manually as a separate variable, add it to here, and then also put the currency. I think that's it. Okay, then you can come and put here the company data. So you can just simply use JSON.encode, and then encode this map data to now a real JSON string. Okay, so you see, I first convert the user model and I save it here in this map data. So everything that is in the user is now here, and then I go ahead and add the company name and the company as we collected them from up there. So everything now should be fine. All right, so let's try to submit now. Create account. I can see registration successful. If you try to create account again, email already registered. So that is very nice. Okay, so that is very good. That is very, very good. Now we need now just to play and work on now. So it means that even the data is being sent back. So let's look at the data that is being sent back. So once it has made sure that this one is not 1, so it means that when it is 1, everything is going to bypass this level. So everything is success. If you still remember the way how we designed our response models. Okay, so let me remind you here, if I send this one, so you see we have the code, the message, and the data. So we're going to fetch this data and convert it from JSON back to the the user object. So this data, so it is in here in called data, in the data that has come in the space of data. So if I come and put this one here to string, I should be able to see that data in the console that has come if it is successful. So let's go ahead and change something in the email. Save, then come here and try to submit. Can you see success? You see success, and the data, this data that I just put in string here, I mean in console, you see it is having the what? It is having the wait, let's see how it is organized. It is having the user, okay, it's having the object of the user, and then it has also the object of the company. Okay, so we're going to need most especially the object of the user. Object of the company can work on it later, but let's first get the object of of the user. So I'm going to get the object of the user. I believe it is also under here. So you may first check if the object, I hope you can get it like this. Let's try and see. Change the email, submit. So you see, we can be able to get the object of the user. We'll have the user ID, the username, the name, the photo, everything is there. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to write a function that is going to work on the logic of converting this data from this value to JSON now. I mean from the JSON that has come to the to the logged in user model. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so it's going to be just a static. Okay, so sorry about that. We're going to create a method from the in the logged in user model, and the purpose of that method is going to be getting the data from from the JSON and converting it back to what, to the object itself, because this is just plain text. So we're going to work on the logic of converting that data from JSON to the object. Okay, so we're going to add it in the logged in user model. So we are just going to say logged in user model, and then you guys are going to do something called from JSON here. So let's go ahead and create that variable for from JSON. So I'll just simply come and press here, alt and enter. Okay, alt and enter. Okay, so it can be able to do what? We can be able to create this method of from JSON. So we come here, we make this method to be static. Okay, to be static, and then we call it, it will be returning the logged in user. So we make sure that this name is the same as this one, logged in user. And then we're going to call it from JSON. And then here it will have now the data. Okay, and then what you're going to do, we come this method. So you just create it as I've just done it. Come this logged in user model, say static logged in user, and then say from JSON, and then to be receiving the data or the value that's going to convert from JSON. And then after, you're going to say now logged in user model equals maybe to object. Okay, and then you go ahead and return that object. So in here, we're going to do now the logic of converting the logged in user, I mean the data that has come from what, from let's say, to convert it now to what, to the object of user. So I'll go ahead and first check if is equal to null. I go ahead and return just a normal user without an ID. I can go ahead and check if run type does not contain string. I can say it does not contain map. I can again cancel it. I know that it is not a what? It is not a logged in user. I mean, it's not a map. It's not a JSON. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and now start. Let's go ahead and now start converting. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and start converting. So we have here our object.json, and then go ahead and say, okay, we go ahead and say ID. Okay, ID is going to be, so it's going to be int dot parse, and then you pass data, and then you say ID dot to string, like this. Okay, like that. Then you go ahead and get the first name, so it's going to be data.username, and then to string, like this. We get the password, we get whatever. So we are converting this JSON to like this. Okay, so we convert. So whatever has come, we're converting it. It stops at phone number. Let me go ahead and put the rest. Just put them in. Okay, so phone number 2 is done. I'll put the address. I put the sex. Then I put DOB. And then I put status. and then I put the email. All right, so there to convert our object to JSON, from JSON to an object, and then I return the object. So that's it. Okay, that's it. So you name this one as from JSON, just like I've named it there, exactly how I've named it. So now we come back to register. So we're going to have maybe user, I can say maybe new user equals to I can say user equals to logged in user from JSON, and then you pass this data, okay, which is the data and then the user. Okay, so that's it. Now I go ahead and check if the ID of this guy is less than 0, I mean less than 1, then I'll know that things were not right. So I just simply go ahead and say if ID is equal to 0, then I'll just know that it failed to pass. Okay, I just simply say failed to pass the user, failed to try to log in with your credentials. Okay, so now this person can be able to log in. I know that everything was successful because I've already checked the one app, but it has just failed. So I just say someone to try to log in, and then I just show the mistake, and then I set state, and I return from there. So if it has successfully done that, then I can just simply say success, and then say maybe welcome, and then I display the person's name, okay, like this. So I can say person's first name. So I'll know that this name is coming from what? From the internet. Okay, so that is it. I know it's a little bit complicated, but I've taken it step by step to make sure that you understand everything. So also rewatch the video if you don't understand until you get this concept, because everything is based on this concept, and you just only do it once. The rest will just be copy and paste. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to register. So he's already registered. Let's go ahead and change the email. Okay, register. I can see welcome, and the name of the person is there. So we have successfully passed the data. Okay, now that's it for today's lecture. Now in the next lecture, we are going to see now how can you log in this user and put them into your local database. And also in the next lecture, it's also going to learn how to make dynamic logic of how you create these things and generate them. You write just logic only one time, and then you use that logic to regenerate the rest of your applications by just running a command. So that's what we're going to look in the next lectures. So don't miss. At least right now we have finished that logic. Now if you go to your hosting, for example, and I log in as administrator. Let me log in as administrator. The user is admin. I hope that's, oh my god, admin 4321. Did I forget? Admin. I forgot. Let me check on the local one. I just forgot. All right, maybe if you check when you log into your online database, you'll be able to see these companies. As administrator, you'll be able to see these companies. For example, let me log into the online. Here I use this email, sabia41@gmail.com, and password is 4321. Let's try to log into online with the dashboard. sabia41@gmail.com. Let's try to log in. Password 4321. Oh, have the issue with credentials. We'll have to check that one out in the next lecture. But as you can see, as you can check, you'll see that your system, your user is successfully logged in. The account has been successfully created on what? On the server. So all right, that's it for this lecture. Let's meet in the next lecture, where we are going now to do what?